All right, thanks everyone for coming to Summit Daily News' election forum. This year we're going to start off with a statement by Summit County Government Representative Tamara Pogue. She'll be speaking on ballot measure 1A, and then after that we will move on to the school board candidates, who will each have 2 minutes for an opening presentation. There will be 6 questions, where they each have 1-minute responses. And then it'll be followed up with a 2-minute closing statement. And then with any extra time we have left, the candidates feel free to stick around and talk to constituents if you'd like. And without further ado, here's Tamara with ballot measure 1A.
Thanks, Andrew. Oh, 2.
Yes, two.
That's always delightful. Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara Pogue. I'm one of the 3 commissioners on Summit County's Board of County Commissioners. I am here tonight to talk about referred measure 1A, which will be on your ballot if you live in unincorporated Summit County, so not within any of the towns. I think the one thing that unites everyone is a desire to fill potholes and fix the condition of our roads. And so referred measure 1A is actually quite simple. It takes an existing 2% lodging tax, so referred measure 1A does not increase your taxes, but takes an existing tax and allows us to spend those dollars on road maintenance and road improvements. The legislature gave counties the authority to impose a 2% lodging tax 4 years ago now, and at that time, the only legislatively allowed uses were housing and childcare. So we successfully passed the 2% lodging tax in Summit County in 2018. And then last year, the legislature gave counties the authority to use those dollars for a number of other purposes, should the public approve them. One of those purposes is roads. And so that's really all Measure 1A does, is allow the county to take that existing 2% that voters have already approved, and add road and bridge maintenance. Just to give you a sense of sort of the magnitude of the problem that we face in Summit County with improving our roads, the payment that we get from the state, called the Highway User Trust Fund, which is the largest bulk payment counties receive from the state to improve roads, is $1.4 million a year. On the recent Swan Mountain Road project, 1 mile of repavement cost $4 million. So we have a pretty significant deficit in Summit County for roads. And while this is referred measure 1A will not totally solve the problem, it will help us allocate additional dollars. So that's it. No new taxes, nothing terribly controversial, but we would be grateful for everybody's support and the increased flexibility to help us solve this problem.
Thank you, Tamara. And today we have 5 candidates running for Summit School Board Board of Education. And with that, I'm going to let them each introduce themselves. Again, they'll have 2 minutes for an opening statement. And then we'll move on to a list of questions, and we'll alternate with who begins each question. But there are 6 questions total, and you'll each have 1 minute to respond with those. And then you may use your final statements for any rebuttals or closing remarks that you'd like to make to voters this year. So without further ado, I'll start with you, Tom.
Me and the girls here. Yeah. Yeah, so speak into the mic, huh? So my name is Tom Day, and I have lived here in Summit County for 38 years. I was told to not start off with negative comments, but I have to say it's kind of hard because I think our schools are in pretty bad shape. The board has hired 2 West Coast superintendents in a row, and we see the results in low scores. And my oldest son and daughter-in-law graduated from Summit High School. They were the top 10 school, rated distinguished, and a source of pride in the county. With the last 2 superintendents, the school has been below accredited and barely accredited. Right now, the high school is below accredited. My youngest son graduated in 2024, and he has a tough time writing and doing basic math. The high school is ultimately what matters most because what universities and employers look at is that. Financially, we may be even worse. The board took on commitments when they had COVID money that they can't pay. It's forced them to cut staff and lose their AAA bond rating. They spent about $11 million in reserves the past 3 years. There's been no improvement. We need to focus on teachers teaching to standards. We need to make cuts and eliminate all the equity infrastructure, not because I'm against equity, but because it's not working. We need to eliminate admin positions that have been created for social justice and virtual signaling and bring back people who know how to get academics turned around. We need to focus on parental rights and transparency, or parents will continue to pull their kids out of the school district. Everything we do on the board needs to be directly help teachers and students, and that's what I intend to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom and Kimberly.
On the alphabet. Hi, my name is Kim Dyer. My husband and Dan and I have lived full-time in Summit County for over 7 years. We raised our 3 children in Centennial, Colorado, and when some unpredictable life changes happened, we moved up here, and I was able to finish and continue my career at Summit Middle School as a school counselor. Dan was also able to have a little bit of a second career as he worked for the deans at the high school and at the middle school, and he got to continue his love of coaching. And that was a bit of adjustment for us because all of a sudden he was in my world. And my world is youth, our children, our future, our most treasured humans who together we're all raising. Yes, we parents and guardians are the primary caregiver, but in my opinion, thankfully, Dan and I are not the only ones who educated my children. Many adults, wonderful teachers, coaches, parents of friends, neighbors, they also learned a lot from their peers and from the media. And I certainly did not agree with everything that they were learning. But it also gave us an opportunity to talk about those things over the dinner table, in the car, before they go to bed at night. Together, they were practicing critical thinking. They were taking information from various sources, researching and deciding for themselves where that would take them. Was it easy? No. To this day, do we always agree? Absolutely not. But we respect, we value, and we encourage each other. And that is what I want to do as a member of the school board at Summit School District. I want to learn from our youth, our staff, and our community, and I want to have those hard conversations. I want to use my counseling skills to listen, reflect, and help resolve conflicts. And I want to work in collaboration with the community to understand how we can pull together to fully support public education, because that is a necessary foundation for any community to thrive.
Thank you, Kim. Jenniffer.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jenniffer Gonzalez. I was born and raised in Panama. I got a master in international tourism, and I have been in this county for 21 years. I got naturalized U.S. citizen in 2010. I have a daughter attending 7th grade here at Summit Middle School. And since I moved here in 2004, I started working for public health and social services. So I have been in contact with the Latino community since then, and the whole community as well. So after my time there, I started working at Summit Community Care Clinic. I was able to be in touch with the community as well and help them with resources. And while I was there, I was in charge of operations, managing grants, federal and state grants, managing substance use grants as well. I was, after 15 years, I moved to the senior center, and I was able to work with older adults, and that was a wonderful experience for me because I learned a lot of new things, resources, and all the resources I need that they need. After that, I had the opportunity to transfer to Youth and Family Services. So far, I have 3 years working there with the youth and all the families, supporting them in any way, supporting the community.
30 seconds.
Yes. So I'm running because I do care for our kids. I care about academics. parental rights, and I just want a better future for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Whitney Horner. I started working for Summit County Public Health 14 years ago. I'm a dietitian and lactation consultant who oversees a supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children in both Summit and Grand County. In addition to WIC, our county also offers free lactation support to any mother through lactation support groups and one-on-one consultations. Working with moms navigating how to feed their infants and parents facing food insecurity within their households has given me the opportunity to work with countless families during some of their most vulnerable times. I take pride in the work that I do. I'm an active listener who understands that every person has a unique story. My job is to guide, teach, and empower parents to tackle challenges in the early stages of growing their families. If I do my job right, I do not fix lactation or nutrition challenges. Rather, I provide insight and tools to empower the people I work with to achieve their goals independently. I believe that raising children takes a community, and I am lucky to have been a part of so many of these communities in our county. Now I have 2 children of my own. My daughter will be 5 next month, and my son is 6. My children currently attend Summit Cove Elementary, and I want to be active in supporting our schools. I want our district to be the best district it can be, not just for my own children, but for every student in our community. If I want our district to be the best it can be for our students, then I also believe it is time for me to step up and give back to ensure that I am playing my part in propelling our district forward. I have been a trusted professional for many throughout this community. I believe teachers and staff are the trusted professionals for our youth, and I am ready to step up and serve to value all the humans that are committed to showing up every day for our students.
30 seconds.
Yes, I think improvements are always needed. The world is changing rapidly, and being willing to grow and adapt is the only way to keep up. I believe in teamwork and leading by example. I believe in the importance of building strong academic foundations and learning how to work together with others. Our youth is our future. I am running for school board to put in the work to see our students thrive.
Jackie.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Zheleznak. I have lived full-time in Summit County for 3 years and have been in Denver for 25. I love Colorado. My mother was a native, and the only reason she left is because I was born and raised in Hawaii, and once you're there, it is hard to leave. Hawaii and Summit County actually share a lot of similar things, which is they're both a little magical, and that's part of the reason that I'm running for school board. I spend my days as a healthcare lobbyist, so depending on your view, potentially the worst part of politics. But what that has given me is insight into what is coming to Summit County. And that is the fact that we need to ensure that we are creating a county and a community and a school district that is sustainable. We need to be able to join together, make sure we are producing students that are achieving, we are supporting our workforce, making Summit County Schools ideally the best employer in the county, and making sure that we know what we're going to do to survive in the new changes that are coming with the Colorado economy. There are 3 main things that I'll focus on. As a mother of 2 kids, one in middle school and one in high school, I know that these kids have so much potential, not just mine, but all of them. So let's figure out how to tap into that potential and make sure everyone succeeds. We can do that by ensuring that we have staff that is committed and feels supported and can do the best of their work. Also, we can't have a thriving community if we don't have a thriving school district. So this really is the backbone of the community, and I want to help us stay there.
Thank you. All right, thank you all for introducing yourselves. We'll now move on to 6 questions that I have prepared based on reader feedback and our own education reporting that we've been doing at Summit Daily News. You'll have 1 minute to respond to each of these questions. And Tom, we're going to start with you and then go down the line. So my first question is, are there any decisions the Board of Education has made that you agree with? Why or why not?
I think that they've made some decisions as far as we've got a great women's rugby team. So I think we need to foster more things like that we're good at, and skiing and that's kind of stuff too. But actually, as far as I'm not really too excited about a lot of things that have happened here because I see a lot of money being spent and our education isn't getting any better. I mean, if we're 82% when my 30-year-old graduated, and now we're at a 56%, that's pretty dismal. And so I hate to be critical, but we got to do better. We just got to do better. Our kids deserve it, and we've been distracted by equity things that I don't think are applicable in school, and we need to focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic.
It's time. Kimberly?
Did you say board and
Yeah.
district? Both? Okay, that's what I assumed. I agree with a lot of the things that the Summit School District and the board are doing right now. I think one of the things they're doing really well is they're really reaching out to listen to their community. I think they've gotten that feedback and they're listening. One of the ways is the master plan committee that they just started that I got to be part of, and there were over 40 people there for the first one. I think there's just cool things that they're doing. I think at the middle school, the stand-up summit they're doing right now at Summit Middle School about accountability and asking people to read a young adult book and having discussions about social media. That's awesome. I think some of the advisory committees they have and accountability, the Consejo de Familias, that they're really reaching out and trying to get people involved. They know that the community and parents are vital partners to us. I also support the graduate profile. I think that's an awesome to start from preschool all the way up to really look and make sure that our kids have the things that they need to be able to be successful. And also the future pathways. I love the idea of really getting relevance learning where kids are learning something in their classroom and then they are actually using those different areas in their brains to apply it and to see why it matters that they're learning. I think we're in the right direction. I just think we need help to get there.
That's time. Thank you. Jenniffer, same question?
Well, for me, I think since I'm here, I noticed that the school board and the district have supported the Latino community, and I think they have well intention and they have been offering translation services, free food and engagement. The Latino Advisory Committee also led parents to raise their voice, and but actually unfortunately, I'm not seeing a lot of results from that. The Latino students are still having their grades massively inflated, being passed and graduated despite not being academically ready. I heard about the stand-up series that the school district is organizing, and I think those are good. So we can open eyes, parents' eyes, to see how damaging is, social media and all those things. So I think it's good.
5 to 10 seconds.
And the communication. I think communication has been pretty good. Sending messages to parents, reminders, but it can be improved. There is always an opportunity for that.
Thank you. Oops, sorry, timer issue. I'm ready for you, Whitney.
There's always improvements to be made, but I think that every person on the board is highly committed to academics, and I think in schools you need to be committed to academics, and I've been really inspired by the board's enthusiasm on the future ready pathways and looking at these different ways of how do we push our students to learn. Yes, we need test scores to improve, but truly learning is doing and getting excited and wanting to think critically and figure things out so that you have those light bulb moments. And I think the board is trying to push us in a direction where we're really approaching learning in a way that it's going to encompass the whole child and pushing them to excel and not just be mediocre.
Thank you.
Because I'm last, can I just say I agree? I actually also agree that the board has made some decisions that I think have put the district on the right track when it comes to academics. If you look at the academic growth, just even in the past 18, 24 months, it really is better than it was, and I think they should be commended for that. I do think, again, there's always room for improvement. If there isn't, then we're not paying attention. So I think the board should continue to work on academic achievement. I don't think the scores are where they need to be, and I am concerned that we're not meeting every child and meeting their needs, because they all are different with different talents and different challenges. I also think the board has been really creative in programs that fit with their strategic plan, like the Pathways program. I'm interested to learn more about that since I have a freshman, and that is definitely on our doorstep. But I think that the board should be giving credit for what they have been doing that has had some results, and we need to keep going.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to the second question. Kimberly, we'll start with you. And that question is, are there any decisions that the board or district have made that you disagree with? Why or why not?
I think the main one I can think of is just the ballot, the ballot issue for A that was the 195 million bond that was presented 2 years ago, the last voting, and did not pass. And I think they see that now, that probably that was $2,000, maybe not enough communication beforehand. And I think that's one thing that they're working toward. I say that, but also I feel it's sometimes difficult for me to judge something when I haven't been part of something. I think it's so easy for all of us to look at something on the outside and think we know how to fix it. So that's what I can see, and I see that they're making feedback and moving forward.
Thank you. And Jenniffer, same question.
Well, for me, will be academics for sure. Like, just looking at some percentages, like from 2014, we were at 81.5, then 2016, 70, 2017, 69, and it goes down even before COVID. And sometimes, like, when I have conversations with people, they're like, oh, it's because of COVID. And this was happening before that. So my concern is that, because I care about academics and I want all the kids to have high expectations. And another one will be parental rights. Like, communication is good, but not enough. I think we should be getting more transparency through communication and let parents know what's going on.
10 seconds.
And due to cultural barriers, sometimes, like, our parents from our community, they are not aware of a lot of things. So I think we need to be very transparent about that.
That's time. Thank you.
I'll echo the bond, but my seat at this table, I am really all about lifting people up, so I'm not going to critique anything that's taken place where I haven't been a part of it. And I believe our board is trying to learn from everything that they do, and that's what I hope to carry forward if on the board as well, is we have to learn from the bond. We have to learn from when there are communication gaps. If there's feedback about how we can collaborate better, I think the board is human. We're all people trying to grow and improve, and that's exactly what we want to model for our students. So as long as we're consistently learning, I'm not going to strip anybody down.
Thank you. And Jackie?
I think we have a budget problem. I think we have budgets that are being approved that we cannot afford. I think we've seen the board dip into reserves to pay for things that we need to have a conversation of whether we actually need to pay for them or not. I think that is going to be a bigger problem when you have the current state budget situation and a new school finance formula that actually is not going to be as beneficial as I think people are hoping. So if there's anything that I disagree with, it is the current financial strategy that the board has taken that seems to be okay with borrowing against the future, and I think that needs to stop.
Thank you. And then Tom, same question.
Definitely budget and how our money is spent is what I'm disappointed with, and I think it's been applied to things that don't get kids jobs, don't get kids to come out of high school ready to attack the world. And we need to focus on that, not these other things. I'm sorry, DEI and equity and stuff, I think is, we spent a lot of money on this stuff, and it has been, as far as I can tell, a complete flop. So we just need to be better, and we need to really look at what we need to spend money on and what we don't need to spend money on.
Thank you, Tom. All right, and now for question 3. Jenniffer, this will be starting with you. Summit School District has entered a partnership with the town of Breckenridge for workforce housing for staff members. Do you agree with this decision, and do you support assisting staff with housing due to the high cost of living in Summit County?
Well, I believe we're all struggling as a community with housing. I don't know anyone who doesn't. So I don't think the school should be getting into housing, and we need to look at our budget and look at our priorities for the school, focusing on academics and not, unfortunately, not housing. But I know we are all struggling and we all need a place where to live. But it's very unfortunate, and it's not only here in Summit County where it's happening everywhere. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jenniffer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So Summit School District entered a partnership with the town of Breckenridge for workforce housing for some staff members. Do you agree with this decision, and do you support assisting staff with housing due to the high cost of living in Summit County?
I need to read more about the exact details here, because I don't think that the school district should be staff's landlord. If it's a partnership, yes, I think we need to support housing. It is incredibly high cost of living here, and I believe in the people that run our schools, and I do think that we need to support teachers in being able to stay so that they can excel and have our children do the same. So I am in support of figuring out how to get teachers to be able to stay here.
Thank you, and Jackie, same question.
I'm all in support of creative solutions. I think there's a fine line between the district being a school district and the district being everything for everyone. I don't know a lot about the agreement, but one of the biggest questions I have is this actually what staff wanted? Because if it's not, then it's a whole effort that's for naught. So I need to do a little bit more research on that. I don't have a great answer, but I do know that community is built on so many different things, and people do need a place to live. So if there is a creative solution, a partnership with the town of Breckenridge, I'm all for exploring that, or any other partnership that is state, local, private, however you want to find me someone that wants to help, I'll take their help. But let's make sure that we're going down the right path with the people that are most affected by those decisions.
Thank you, Jackie, and Tom.
Yeah, I'm a realtor, so that's what I do. So I sell and list properties, but it is a challenge here. There's no doubt about it. Our cost of living is crazy. We had a event last night at the Elks Club that was, Erin Lee spoke there. She was fantastic, but we had one person get up and say that they were going to move up here. She was a teacher. They were going to move up here, but she had to take a 30% cut in income to come up here to Summit County. So I think we need to pay our teachers more, and we need to find a way to do that, but we need to cut the fat out and make the teachers so they can live here. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and yeah, they should love being here, but they actually need to be able to buy groceries and pay their rent or their mortgage. So I don't know if it's something that we should be involved in, but overall, I think the teachers need to get paid more, especially beginning teachers.
Thank you, Tom. And Kim?
I mean, I love anything that has to do with a partnership, because I think we need to do that so much with our community to partner, to do what we can to work within this limited budget that we have. I hate that that's something that we have to do, that because of the way the real estate market is, and because of what we can pay the teachers, that is something that we have to do. But I think, like with anything else, there is a need. We've got to figure out how to try to help with that need, like we would expect with our students, with anything else. And we know we need good teachers. That's our basis. We invest in teachers. We invest in our youth. We've got to recruit and we've got to retain them. And this is one way to do that. then I am in all support of that.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on to the fifth question, and we'll be starting with you, Whitney. That question is, the district's ballot measure last year failed, but district officials say the priorities outlined in the measure were important. What ideas did you support in the ballot measure, and which did you disagree with?
I think that the ballot measure, like you said, took on too much. So I think picking the top priority would be how I would put my voice at the table as a suggestion to the board. Thinking of every single component of that ballot measure, I do not know them. So I will admit that I would need to go back and look to every single one. But I would want to really rely on collaboration and find out how do we weight those and figure out what's the biggest thing to go after that can have the most impact for our students. And I think that would be where I would start, is trying to prioritize and figure out the one thing that we could move forward.
Thank you. And then Jackie?
That's a really interesting question, because if you ask me, I'll tell you I didn't support anything in the ballot measure because of the way the ballot measure was written and how it was communicated, which is not ideal in my opinion. I do think that the grandiose ideas that existed are probably based in really intentionally good thought. However, again, I don't know that any of those were the right directions for this district to go. And I think those are conversations that we all need to continue having to truly understand, what is the school district going to be for Summit County, and what is it going to be for the kids that are here and the teachers and staff that work here.
Thank you. Tom?
You know, I think that there's been a opinion here that we can always get more money because they'll give it to us, kind of thing. And when this ballot measure was shot down, resoundingly, I think that was a reality check for people to realize that, you know, we can't just throw more money at it and expect it to work. So we've really got to, belt tightening is what we got to do. And we've got to look at every item line by line and figure out what we need and what we don't need. What makes our kids smarter? What makes them compete better in the world than what they have right now? I'm sorry, it's just we can do so much better. So we need to do that.
Thank you. And then Kim?
Thinking back to that, I remember part was with Breck L was just some of the physical things that had to be addressed. And again, I hate that that's happens, that we can't support our buildings to get them to the necessary parts that they need to be. So I think that was one I definitely would always support. We need to have safe buildings that provide that for our children. Also the CTE programs, the programs that would help to, again, give that relevance, to give our kids those skills, those really marketable skills that they need to be out there in the world. And I love that at times they're working side by side with community members. So I very much supported that. And I did support the idea of Snowy Peaks moving over there, because I think then they can take advantage of that and use that also. I think that's where they need to be, is over by the high school. So those things I did support.
Thank you. And Jenniffer?
Yes, in regards to the ballot that didn't pass, I can say, like, I talked to the community and people are struggling. That's what I see. And probably that's the reason that didn't pass. It's not like we're not needing that, or for sure. But I think we need to be creative and look other ways. But right now, everyone is struggling, the majority of the community. So probably that was a wake-up call for everybody, and that's why it didn't pass. But we can collaborate and see any other options that are out there. But yeah, it's pretty concerning that we don't have the funds to do the work that is needed to be done.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the fifth question. I misspoke on that last one. This is question 5, and we'll be starting with you, Jackie. State and local government entities are facing budget woes and decreased revenue streams. What areas are critical to fund at Summit School District, and in what ways would you improve the district's budget?
I'm so glad you asked. We have to start ensuring that we are teaching our kids curriculum that will actually benefit them, make them think critically, and ensure that they ideally enjoy learning, right? We have to do that and spend money to make sure that we are doing the right things for our kids. Part of that is also ensuring that we have the adequate staff that is qualified to teach our kids and take care of our kids. We need to spend money there. Everything else, we really need to look at, because there is no more money coming. None. So we really do need to understand where this money is going and what we're spending it on, and make really, really hard and uncomfortable choices. And I'm really sorry, but I really think that's the reality. And all I want is for all of these children to reach their potential and succeed. And it's going to be challenging to do that, but I think we can.
Thank you. Tom?
Could you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah. State and local governmental entities are facing budget woes and decreased revenue streams. What areas are critical to fund at Summit School District, and in what ways would you improve the district's budget?
I just think we need to focus on the basics. We need to focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic, and history, and science, and stuff like that, that gives kids jobs. You know, we were sending these kids out. I got to admit, my 20-year-old, it was shocking to me when he came up to me. He went to Wyotech for welding, and he's graduated, and he's working at Infinity Welding now, and he's doing great. But he didn't even know how to divide an inch into a half inch and a quarter inch and an eighth inch and 16th inch. So it was shocking to me to see, you know, and maybe I should have done something better too, but I just had no idea. That's all I can say is we just need to spend money on the stuff that makes sense, okay?
Next time. Thanks, Tom. And Kim, how's it going? Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Same question, do you want me to repeat it?
No, it's okay. I would have asked you, but Tom did. Thank you. So I just think, yeah, kind of what Jackie, the priorities are always have to be whatever best serves the students. So we have to always just try to figure out how to structure the budget to best meet the needs of our students. I have a lot to learn about what it's like to run a very large nonprofit with limited funds, and I know we're going to have to really think hard and dig deep and think outside the box when it comes to how are we going to meet those needs? What kind of partnerships do we need? What kind of mill levies, bonds, possibly grants, fundraisers, donations? What are we going to do? But we have to always figure out just to make sure we have the needs of our students met.
Thank you. Jenniffer, would you like me to repeat the question?
Well, I want to say that the district has two options, like to stabilize the budget. Cut costs or raise taxes through a mill levy, bond, or a sales tax. A mill levy funds personal, a bond fund, infrastructure, and I'm not clear on the use of a sales tax. But we will need to be very creative on looking at the budget and being pretty wise, so we can look at the priorities, and priorities are the kids and teachers. So it's gonna be a tough job to work on balancing the budget.
Thank you. And Whitney?
Students can't learn if they don't have teachers. They can't just get to school if we don't have the bus drivers to get them there. They can't focus if they're not fed and we have the cafeteria workers putting the food out at lunch. They can't learn if the environment is dirty and not kept. I think the money needs to go towards the people. What I've learned about school funding is it's incredibly complicated, and to my understanding, 89% of the general fund is already going towards teachers and staff. So I commend the board and the district in investing in their people, and I think that that's where the money needs to go.
Thank you. And now we'll start back on this side, Tom. And my last question is going to be, residents of Summit County are always seeking higher test scores. How would you specifically help to ensure students continue to see improvement?
I think the biggest thing is having quality teachers that know how to teach and know how to teach kids to do what I've been talking about, math and reading and writing. And I see where the focus has gone other places, and it's just not working. So we need to just get back to the basics, and teachers are the key, and teachers that are paid enough to live here and enjoy living here and not have to suffer and cut back and struggle to find places to live. So that's the main thing I think we need to do.
Thank you. You can?
Yeah. Yes, I think it starts with teachers also, and making sure that we have qualified and teachers that really get to have the training and the time that they need to be able to do their job well. So we've got to support them. We need to make sure kids are in the classrooms, which we're working on more, and I think there's been a lot of growth in that, and just they got to be in that seat and they got to be engaged. And we got to make sure that we're giving them those opportunities that are really going to connect with them, and that they can be practicing and learning what they're doing. And we have to meet the students where they are, and then we have to continue to build them to where we know they need to be.
Thank you. Jenniffer?
Well, first of all, I think that we need to make sure they read, write, and they know the basics, back to fundamentals. Like, I just want to share something quick. I just met with a graduated kid, and I was like asking him to write something for me, and I had to spell it all. He was looking at me like, tell me how to write, and I'm like, SILBERTHONE, because he was living in Silverthorne, graduated school from Summit High School, and didn't know how to write. That was like, are you serious? So we need to go back to write and read, fundamentals, and as soon as they get to do that, I know they're wise. We can motivate them, and have high quality teachers. That's all we need. That's the perfect match. Thank you.
Thank you, and Whitney?
I think it all lies in collaboration. I think that the school district as a whole, we need to work together and really listen to one another and see what people are getting excited about in the classroom. We do need to increase test scores, but we need to see what drives students, what really gets teachers excited about what they're doing. I've heard a ton of excitement about the career pathways and the certificates that high school kids can come out with, and like dual language, and also just different trades, like learning like the tech skills, all the skills. But we need to listen to the students, we need to listen to staff, and we need to figure out what makes everybody tick and what are those things that everybody can truly get excited about. Because if we're not excited and wanting to show up, the test scores aren't going to go up. We need to engage everybody.
Thank you. Jackie?
Can I ask you to repeat the question?
Yeah. So, residents of Summit County are always seeking higher test scores for students. How would you specifically help to ensure students continue to see improvement?
I mean, all of the above, right? I also know that I think sometimes we assume that a test is something that is a student's responsibility. They are guided by their teacher, and A and B equals C. I actually think there is a missing piece to that formula, which is the importance of family in supporting educational achievement and the importance of being in school, the importance of being engaged with the student in your home to ensure that they know that what they're doing, how they actually learn the concept that they are trying to be taught. I think increasing test scores, we all need to do it, because if we can increase our kids' test scores, then everyone's going to be happier, right? Our students will feel the sense of pride, our teachers will feel that same sense of success for their students, and we can all have a bigger smile on our face that day. But in order to do that, it is not just a child in a classroom with a teacher. It is parental involvement. It is...
It's time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jackie. All right. Well, thank you all for answering all those questions. Now we have 2 minutes for your closing remarks. If you'd like to share anything more about your platforms or why folks should vote for you. Tom, we'll start with you.
Okay. I'd say SSD is at a crossroads, but we passed that crossroads about 5 years ago. The equity policy that was passed back then against hundreds of parents' protests has led us here. The district completely reorganized around a document that basically says America, Summit County, the staff, teachers are racist. Nothing could be further from the truth. There are good reasons new immigrants struggle, and we need to address them. Organizing, hiring, and spending tens of millions of dollars to solve racism that doesn't exist is a fool's errand. Even if it were true, there is no evidence that it's working. We need to set and enforce high standards and teach to those state standards. We need to stop inflating grades, passing kids, graduating over 90% just to make our numbers look good. This may feel good, but it's doing a disservice to the students and it discredits the district. We need to get our financial house in order, and that starts with making smart cuts. The equity, infrastructure, and admin are not having any effect. They need to be gutted. Those funds need to go to the support staff where turnover is greatest, and we need to make sure that teachers are paid competitively. There is going to be much pressure to raise taxes massively to bail out the school, but with the current board and superintendent, that extra money would also be mismanaged. Why would you expect anything different? Lastly, we need to focus on bringing back parental rights, total transparency to health and to mental health services being provided at the schools. That's why I'm asking for your vote. Our current leadership is doing this, is what it's doing to this district, and the students and teachers is criminal. We need anybody who has a different thought and isn't beholden to the teachers union or the board. Thank you.
Kim, you also have 2 minutes.
Thanks. First, I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight and for allowing us to have this opportunity, because it's important. Fully funding our schools, supporting our teachers and staff, closing our achievement gap, and preparing our students for the fast-forward world we live in, it matters. So being here means you care, and for that I am thankful. It also makes me hopeful, because parents, community members, Summit School District staff, I want to learn with you, I want to question ideas together, and I want to find ways that we can hold all of us, our students, also to that high expectations. I want to ensure that we, along with our students, are all globally aware. I want to make sure that we're open to change and possibilities, because we have to be. All the things we talked about tonight are the keys to a successful partnership, which is what investing in our youth and the public and their public education demands. We need clear communication. We have to have aligned goals. We got to have mutual trust and respect in each other, and we've got to define what these roles and responsibilities are. That's what I believe, and that's why I want to join the Summit School District Board. Throughout my experience as a parent actively involved in my children's schools, as a family school community liaison, and as an elementary and a middle school counselor, there is always only one common theme, and that is that the more we work together to support our youth, the more prepared they are for the future, the stronger our school district becomes, and therefore the more vibrant our community will be.
Thank you. Jenniffer, you have 2 minutes.
Well, I want to thank you, everybody, for making the time to come and listen to us today. I just want to let you know that I'm here because I care about my community, I care about the students, I care about academics, and care about parental rights. and I'm here to do and give the best of myself to help and collaborate with the board, and try to give the kids what they deserve. So, thank you.
Thank you. Whitney?
4 months ago, I would have never thought that I'd be even trying to go after a school board spot, so I'm still getting all my thoughts in line. But like most people in this community, I've heard plenty of things about the school district that scared me. And with young children going into the school district, I took it upon myself to go and start asking questions because I heard a ton of rumors. I heard things that made me like, ew, that doesn't sit well. And I've been so inspired by everybody that I've talked to. I love being a member of our community. I love living in Summit County. I want to raise my children here. I want to think that they are in the best district possible. And I have been inspired by all of the people that make our school districts move and make our students who they are. I think a couple things that weren't stated while we were talking. To my understanding, Colorado attendance rates have gone down in the last year, and Summit has actually gone up. I think there are things that we have to celebrate. Yes, it's scary to think that we were not accredited at one point, but we have been improving. And I think there's so many little facts. If you start really talking and asking questions, there's a ton to be inspired by, and I want my kids to be inspired too. And when I say my kids, I'm not just talking about my 2 little ones. It's every kid that's come through my office that's now in the school district, and every kid that's in our school district. That is Summit County, and I just want to stand up and try to listen to everybody that I can so I can raise their voice and play a part in making our district as the best it could be.
Thank you. Jackie?
I am very thankful for the opportunity to be here and for all of you taking your time to come and hear us talk and our opinions. I am deeply committed to the success of this community and this school district. I want nothing more than my children and your children to succeed. I think in order to do that, I bring a skill set that is a little uncommon for this county. I understand in a very unique way the politics that are actually involved in funding in this state. And I don't want the politics to go anywhere near the school board. But we are faced with a challenge. I think I have an interesting perspective on what we can do. I think I have sometimes an outsider perspective with the end goal that our students need to be able to succeed in the life that they choose to live, regardless of what that is. And it is our job as a school board to give them the tools and the critical thinking skills to be able to do that. So I ask for your support in this election, and again, thank you for taking the time to come out today.
Thank you. And with that, that concludes our election forum for this year. Thank you so much to the Summit School District for allowing us to use this space, and also to Summit County TV for providing a video recording of this, which will be going up on our election website at summitdaily.com/election. There you will also find the op-eds that were written by each candidate that explain more about their platforms. You will also find their Q&As up there tonight. Those are ready to go and will be uploaded, and then story will come out about this forum along with the posting of the video online. So if you haven't checked it out yet, there's quite a lot of information on there, both about state ballot measures, LL and MM, as well as the Colorado Mountain College's ballot measure. And so if you haven't checked that out before you return in your ballot, go ahead and check that out and see if there's anything that you might learn there. And with that, that concludes our event. I appreciate all the candidates for making time for us today. It's been a very busy time. I know the school district is having their parent-teacher conferences tonight, and we have a fall break coming up, so appreciate you all making time here at the end of this election cycle to talk directly to voters. But thank you all for coming out tonight, and appreciate it. And the candidates, feel free to talk with any constituents if you'd like. Thank you.
Thank you.